Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Relationships. What do you think your spouse or significant other would do if one of their siblings tried to get you in bed? This one's from user Ephira. My sister made a move on my husband. My husband H, 29 male, and I, 27 female, have been together for 7 years, married for 3. We welcomed our son 6 months ago after what felt like a long time of trying to get pregnant. Anyways, my mom, 51 female, and my sisters, 19 female, 30 female, have been around my house to help my husband and I with childcare and such as I've returned to work part-time and H returned to work full-time. My older sister, however, straight up flirts with him, but when I brought it up to H, he said that he felt like she was just being nice. For context, my husband is a very conventionally good-looking guy, tall, muscular, takes care of himself, etc. And girls flirt with him a lot, but he's always oblivious to it. H said that he wouldn't be alone with her if it made me feel better, which was easy because both of my sisters were only ever at our house when my mom was there with them, and my older sister is only around on her 2 days off. This arrangement came about because neither of my sisters have ever cared for a newborn, but something happened and it ended up that my mom had to leave an hour before my husband got there, and it was just my older sister at the house. I wasn't told about this until after the fact. H told me that when he got home, he asked my sister where my mom was, and my sister explained why she had to leave early, and they had a casual conversation about the day. When she approached H, grabbed his crotch, pressed herself against him, and then tried to kiss him. H said he immediately pushed her away from him by her shoulders and told her to stop. After this, she apologized and left quickly, and he called as soon as she walked out of the door. My husband apologized for putting himself in that situation, and that he should have been more careful. I should have said something to her as soon as it made me uncomfortable, but since I didn't want an awkward conversation then, I have to have an even worse one with her now. I'm not mad at him. I am, however, mad at myself for not stepping in and saying something before this happened. I also trust my husband enough to know that he is telling the truth. I texted my sister that we need to have a talk on my day off tomorrow. She agreed to meet up with me and said that it is probably a good idea that we talk. I'm going to talk to her alone about what happened. Let her tell her side and give her the benefit of the doubt and see if she owns up to it or says that something else happened. I hate being in this position because if she admits to making a move on him, then I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. Cut her off and not let her be around my family anymore? She loves my son, and I'd feel slimy not letting her see the only baby in our family, regardless of what happened. H does not want to be around her because of what she did, which I understand completely. When I asked him if he thought this was fixable, he said that it would take a long time for him to forgive her. And honestly, I agree, but I'm kicking myself for not intervening when I saw where her flirting could have gone. So, I don't know what I'm going to say to her, and I don't know just how I should handle this. I have a general idea, but I know this is going to keep me up all night, as if the baby already wouldn't, because I have no idea which direction this will go. OP, your sister has not only put you in a very difficult position, she assaulted your husband. There is no excuse for that. There isn't such a thing as involuntary assault. I think you need to go no contact with her until your husband feels ready and safe around her again. And also, you shouldn't feel slimy because none of this is your fault. Your sister should have never been flirting with your husband, regardless of how she felt, or even worse, acted on it like she did. But that's just my opinion. So before we move on with the update to see how this all played out, let's take a look at the top 3 comments with advice that the community gave OP. Autumn Face says, grabbing someone's crotch without their consent is assault. You and your husband would be well within your rights to cut her off completely. She should have thought about you and the baby before she made a move on your husband. It's up to you how you choose to proceed with her, but in my opinion, she's forfeited every right she had to spend time with your family. Angela the Alien says, I don't think this is fixable. What she did is assault, and your husband is uncomfortable, to say the least, about her coming around. I think you may have to go no contact with her. As for the confrontation, don't let her know exactly what you know. Start with, well, I think we both know why we are here. I'd like to hear your side. And allude to you knowing more than you do. Always say stuff like, and? Because you want to keep her confessing. Don't be afraid to sit in silence for long periods of time. Silence is also a weapon here. Use classical interrogation techniques. Google more if you need to. Hadriel says, you do not let this woman around your family. Your sister tried to F your husband. That isn't a let it slide offense. Well, these 3 people that commented all agree. It was assault with intent to take it further. Now, as a side note, what that second commenter said about silence is so true. People try to avoid silence so much because of how awkward and uncomfortable it is that they're willing to offer more information just so that there isn't an awkward silence. This technique is also used a lot in negotiation and in selling. But like I said, that's beside the point to the post. I thought it'd be something interesting to share with you guys. Anyways, let's move on with the update to see how the conversation between OP and her sister played out. Thank you to everyone who commented on the last post. I didn't expect to get as big of a response as what I got. There were a lot of really helpful things that were said, and a lot of things that opened my eyes. I spent all night thinking about what I would tell my sister, what I would say. The thing is, I knew what I had to do, and I just hated it so much that I was hoping there was some kind of way around it. But the more I thought about it, and the more I talked with my husband, the more I realized there wasn't anything else that I could do. I gave my sister the time to show up to my house when my husband would be long gone. I promised myself that I would at least start out calm. I would give her the chance to explain. I knew that I at least needed to hear what she had to say about what she did. I was going to have my husband's back in this if she tried to lie. So when she showed up, I was calm, but it was already tense. At the advice of my husband and many of the replies to my previous post, I started recording our conversation as soon as she walked in the door. I let her in, let her sit down in the living room, gave her a glass of water. At this point, I was honestly just trying to read her or gauge where this conversation was going to go. I sat down and said, "Tell me what happened when H got home yesterday." Me saying this made her face break. Then she started sobbing. "I'm so sorry," was the only thing she said, or at least that I could make out. I told her that I really didn't care if she was sorry and that the tears don't mean anything, and asked her again what happened. Her words were, "I tried to F him, I have feelings for your husband." She admitted to everything. How her feelings started once H broke up a fight between her and her abusive ex. How it escalated in her head because he was kind to her. She flirted with him even though he never showed interest, and she knew it bothered me. But no guy had ever given her that much positive attention or been that respectful to her. So she felt like there could have been something between them. She hasn't ever been in a super healthy relationship, at least that I've known of, so she's not lying here. This is where I lost my cool. I told her that I am so sorry for what she's gone through and how she sees herself, but she has absolutely no right to corner H, grab his penis, tell him how much she wants him, and then try to sleep with my husband in my house while my son is sleeping in the next room. I told her I hate her for this, and what makes it worse is that I still want to love her. I reminded her about something I went through in college, how bad I got in terms of my depression, and how I was in a really dark place for a really long time. But I didn't hurt anyone else just because someone hurt me. As an added bonus, I am now watching H go through pain so similar to what I went through, the feelings of shame and embarrassment of what happened. I made sure to tell her how talking about what she did reduced H to tears, and I've never seen him like this. My point was that being wounded doesn't give you any reason to hurt someone the way she did. It took me a lot of reflecting, and I had to see the connection between what she did to my husband and what my attacker did to me to realize that my own sister made H hurt the same way that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. Hurt in the same way that I felt at my worst. I wouldn't have been sympathetic towards someone who made me feel so worthless, and I wouldn't make anyone else go through such pain just because I was hurting. She tried to say that she's not as strong as I am, that sometimes it feels like she's going to live the rest of her life like this. My sister still has a support system, and she can get through what pains her. I told my sister that she is strong enough to overcome this, and I know she will, but I can't be there for her anymore, and she can't be around my husband or my son ever again. Cue the tears again. I asked her who she told about what happened to and what she said, if she lied. She said that the only person besides me that she had talked with about it was our mom, who tore my sister up after my conversation with her. She swore that she wouldn't lie about what happened. I hate not being able to support her in recovering from her trauma, but she did it to herself. She made that choice, and I'm not just thinking about my own well-being anymore. I can't. I did what I needed to, and I made sure that she was able to say what she needed to. I let her say goodbye to my son because it's going to be a long time before any of us see each other again. While she said goodbye to him, I made it abundantly clear that if she even loves anyone in my family, if she's really as sorry as she says she is, or if she wants to even see me again, she's not going to lie about what she did to his father to anyone, because a lie like that would ruin both of them. I know how much she loves my son, so I phrased it this way so that the gravity of the situation was put into perspective. She does love my son and wants the best for him, in spite of everything that is wrong with her. Even if she doesn't, there are other things at stake for her. As she was leaving, she offered to hug me, and I didn't do it. All I could tell her was that I hope that she gets the help that she needs. She left, tears in her eyes again. I cried my eyes out too after she left though. I only really got emotional for her to see when talking about what she did to my husband and then my traumatic experience, but everything about this sucks. Even though this is probably the best outcome of the conversation, and I am glad that things went the way they did, and it was all recorded, makes for an easier Reddit post when you can refer back to the direct quotes, lol, I still feel awful. I feel awful that it happened, that she made me do this, and that my sweet husband who was trying to help my sister ended up being victimized by her. I called my husband and we talked for about an hour. I told him everything that happened, and I sent him the recording. He made a police report today just for documentation and filed for a restraining order at work. My sister doesn't know this, yet. He's doing a lot better today than he was yesterday, but I know from experience that this won't be easy. So now, I'm going to wait for him to get home. I promised I would make tonight about him. So we're probably going to end up getting takeout, watching Netflix, and playing with the little one until we pass out. Well, OP, I think you did the right thing. Regardless of everything, you did the right thing. You're keeping your family safe, and that's what's important. There is one thing that your sister said that I think is key. The fact that she said that she's not as strong as you and that she'll never be able to live differently is her speaking through the victim mentality. From what you told us, she was victimized by her ex. However, that victim mentality stuck with her, and it's a cop-out for her to not do anything to solve her own issues. I believe that it's healthy to acknowledge the shame of whatever happened and know that you were victimized. However, it is not healthy to keep a victim mentality and to use it as a crutch or an excuse for whatever you're doing. I believe that the longer you have the victim mentality, the less work you can do on yourself to get better. But then again, that's just my opinion. So now, let's move on to the next story. I'm not gonna give you a summary of this next post because the title says it all. This one's from user Honor and Fury. Getting cheated on was terrible, but it turned out to be the best thing ever for me. I am happily married now. I've been together with my wife for 8 years, married for 6. I've always been honest with her. When we got together, I let her know that I had been engaged before. She obviously had questions. This is going to be fun, I said. My first portion of advice is never date a stripper. You think you can change them, but you cannot. It is not as glamorous or exciting as it seems. I met the ex in a strip club, obviously. She called me back and we hung out. She was beautiful and blonde as well as athletic. At that time, I was young and dumb, full of hormones and testosterone. What proceeded was the worst 6 months of my life. I was paying for everything. For a stripper, she sure as hell didn't make good money. As I soon found out, she was addicted to buying clothes, among other things. We rented a house together, then moved into a bigger one. Where it started to get shady for me is when I found out about a friend of hers. He was an older man who owned a car dealership. He was just a friend. Occasionally, she would spend time with him because he was lonely and I would pick her up. I know how it sounds. I was an effing idiot. She also had a kid, and he was a great one at that. They obviously had some issues, and I tried to make things better. Coming from a pretty effed up household that involved a lot of drugs and arguments, I had sympathy for them. My brother and his wife were initially supportive, but warned me. Things went to hell when she started sleeping in all day, spending more money and more time with her friend. I would work 12 to 14-hour shifts, then have to go pick her son up from practice because she forgot or slept in. We started to get behind on bills and were using credit cards way too much. I started to realize that this is not good, apparently because some of my co-workers knew who she was. Also, people in the hospital knew who she was. This was not great for my career. There were a few things that helped me make my decision to ghost her. She absolutely refused to get help when I found out about her narcotic habit, when I found 6 empty oxycodone bottles in her drawer. Another great thing is when she stole half my prescription of Adderall for my ADHD. I was not sleeping or eating well. I was super stressed, and then of course she spent the night with the guy I found out. The last straw for me was when we were so broke I had to sell my dead friend's rifle that he had given me to pay bills. The guy was a single dad and deserved it. I'm glad I sold it to him. But as he left and I was sitting in the parking lot with $400 in my hand, I quickly realized that this was blood money. Addiction money for her habit. I cried a little. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I called my twin brother, may he rest in peace. I told him what was going on and everything that happened. He and his wife had me come over to their house. The stripper tried to get me back and harassed me and them and told me that I needed to come home and take care of my family. They did not let me leave. When she was gone one day, my brother and his friends helped me move out and grabbed everything that was mine. That was the best thing they could have done for me. My brother truly showed what a real brother was. I moved back in with my mom, I completely ghosted her and left her with the rent. I felt bad for the kid, but nobody cheats on me and gets away with it. She tried to have me come over to grab my mail, and I did. She came out dressed sexy and everything. I was not having it. I said, "Take care of yourself," as I was leaving. I heard her scream as I got into my car and start breaking things in the house. That was the last time I would talk to her, or so I thought. I was Christmas shopping at her local mall with my best friend. I go into an aisle and look who's there. It's my ex. I was shocked. She worked there for the season. She walked up and talked to me and said, "It's nice to see you," and hugged me. My arms were at my side. She whispered in my ear, "You look great. I'd like to jump your bones." I said, "Yeah, good to see you." My friend said, "Let's get the hell out of here." We pretty much ran out of there. I was nauseated seeing her again, but that was truly the last time. Everybody at work and in my family was very supportive, and because of this, I was able to get back to normal and save my career. To all the guys and girls out there, have some respect for yourself. Establish standards. If you have a suspicion, follow up on it. Do not back down and be a doormat like I was. 6 months after we broke up, I met the love of my life. We are happily married and I've never trusted another woman more. Thank you to who reads this. And for me, I can never forgive a cheater and a liar. And as the saying goes, once a cheater, always a cheater. I am trying not to judge other people who have cheated and repaired their marriage, but they knew the risk and what they were doing was wrong. Some can fix their relationship. I could not and would not. I am a good husband to my wife and will never betray her. Edit. Someone made a point on here. There are some good strippers out there that have their crap together and work hard to make good money. It worked for them, so I don't mean to judge all of them. Well, OP, first thing I'm gonna say is I agree with whoever made that point. This story is not about all strippers being bad. This story is about you learning that you need to pick yourself up after somebody tries to destroy you the way they did. For you, it was a stripper that did nothing good for you. For other people, it could be a nuclear scientist or an astronaut or whatever. It doesn't matter what they do for a living, depends on the kind of person that they are. So what I take from your story is, don't let somebody put you through hell just because that's all you deserve. What do you guys think? What kind of learning can you take from OP's story here? And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.